Time to say goodbye to Great Barrier. You can stay here for a whole year. There's so many little bays, so much to explore. And just this one little area almost gives me like anxiety thinking about how little time relatively that we have and how much there is to see and do. You can't do it all. You just can't. Time to move on.
Alright, I gotta show you something that I haven't talked about yet. We installed high output alternators, and right now we are putting 230 amps into the batteries. So yes, we are a sailboat, but we use our engines to pick up the anchor and to get out of an anchorage before we put up the sails. And in that time, we usually run the engines for maybe 30 minutes or so. It gives us hot water, and now, because of these high output alternators, we're putting a crap load of power into the batteries. So in this 30 or so minutes of us motoring around, we'll go from 65% batteries to 75% batteries, and then...
A hundo!
She wants a hundo. It's been super cloudy the past few days and kind of rainy, so we were kind of down. But normally it would take us from like 80 to 90. So it's super cool. I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm going to gather my thoughts. We haven't talked about it because, well, we just installed it and I wanted to make sure it worked. So I'm going to save that for the end of this video because there is a lot to go over. So stick around if you want to watch that later. Okay, for now, we're going to go sailing towards Auckland. Yeah!
You're excited about
I'm
Auckland?
excited about what's there.
Our new sails have arrived. Oh, well, we need food, so provisioning and a couple of other packages. So yeah, packages, that's so exciting. Supplies, things, toys, yeah.
There's a place in my mind where I want to be. I imagine you sitting next to me, driving into the night. We're so young and free, holding hands with no place when you can see me.
It's exciting, always getting the Spinnaker up. You never know what's gonna happen. I mean, it worked. It's beautiful, it's flying, it's downwind, it's amazing. There's a front over here. I'm not gonna think about it.
No.
Everything is great. It's beautiful.
The last time we flew the Spinnakers, we were sailing into New Zealand, so that was 6 months ago. It has been a minute since we've flown it, and it took us, I don't know, what do you think?
I wouldn't tell them.
Yeah. An hour and a half to get it ready to go. But that wasn't it was just, something was up, but it was all twisted around, so it was just untangling everything.
Up and down, up and down.
Oh man. So, anyway, here we are, finally sailing, on course. We're gonna get there.
And because of all the issues, our batteries are now at almost 100%.
Yeah.
And you can see we have about 40 amps going in from our solar. So we'll be at 100 in no time.
Swam through the springtime, leaving all my chocolate. Swam through scary water, I'm afraid of your chocolate. Spent the summer riding with coffee and glass.
Okay, Cam, you want to give us a,
Clap.
no.
Just doing a little test here. We've got the shotgun microphone on the Sony
Yeah, medium cardioid.
medium cardioid. This is the one that we normally use, and it's pretty echoey in here because it's all fiberglass. and we're downwind. So this is what I sound like on that microphone, and also what I sound like on the DJI mic. Just a little test to see which one's better.
Now that you're through with that, give us the sailing report.
Sailing report. 13 miles to our destination. We'll arrive at about 5 p.m., so before sunset, which is good because that means we're not going into the marina at dark. We've had downwind between 15 and 20 knots, and we've been cruising between 6 and 9 knots of speed, depending on how good we're surfing. It's been a beautiful sail, beautiful day. No issues at all. The clouds all disappeared.
Ooh, knock on wood.
Oh, scratch that.
Seems like we just put it up and it's already time to take it down. We have reached our turning point, and it's going to be too much of a turn to continue to fly the Spinnaker, so we got to put Spinnaker away so we can put Genoa out. We're not gonna put up the mainsail. We've only got like 4 miles to go. Genoa only. Haters can hate.
Real sailors, yeah! Even with lazy sailing, we're doing 5, 6 knots. That's not too bad. Oh, and I think that my SD card filled up on the action camera, so let me just prove to you that we put away the Spinnaker. See? All tucked away in there.
First, I'm gonna take a long hot shower. Ooh, I'm so excited about it. And this is a kind of a fancy pants marina. It's huge, or maybe it's just that we've, again, not been in enough marinas. I don't know, but I saw at least 8 different super fast looking boats whenever we came in. Lots of really interesting ones. This is one of those places where you almost just want to go dock walking just to go check them all out. I mean, just look at like even this monohull next to us. How slick is that thing? It's so modern looking. Whole new adventures.
Oh, tell me where we are.
City adventures. Oh yeah, so we're at Gulf Harbour Marina, which is just, I guess, to the side of Auckland, because it's not in the city proper, I don't think. Let me look at a map. I'm not even entirely sure where I am.
I just came here.
I just got here. So I was asking the guys that checked us in, I'm like, is there a restaurant around here? They're like, yeah. Apparently we can even dinghy to the grocery store at high tide. That's pretty awesome. So many luxuries, like within walking distance. It's kind of wild. Eee, okay.
Since we're talking about power today, let's talk about amping up video quality. And that's where today's sponsor comes in. We've been using Motion Array now for a couple of years, and they have loads of sweet assets that we can download and put in our vids.
Did you just say asses?
Nah, I said assets. Like this one right here to remind you to subscribe. That one didn't catch your eye. How about this one? Or what about, boom, this one? All right, now that you subscribed, you'll see that we use Motion Array all the time. Like this graphic for showing routes, or this call out to help point out a location. There's stock video and photos, collaboration software, a website builder, templates for the top editing software, and a plugin for Premiere that makes transitions simple. They have music too, which I've used for our special C-Speak segments. And several of Nikki's cooking segments. Italian, anyone? We started with the free membership because it has hundreds of free downloads, and that gave me a taste. So eventually I signed up for the monthly at $29.99. It gave me full access and unlimited downloads. After 2 months, I realized I could save over $100 by purchasing the yearly membership, and that's what we're currently using. I'm not gonna lie, I debated on whether I'd get the value out of it, but now it's such an easy way to add a little sparkle to my vids. But seriously though, it's something I use all the time. I think it's a great value, and I put a link in the description below if you want to check it out yourself. So about those alternators, it does change everything! But before I dive into that, let me show you like our power setup here very quickly. We mostly rely on our solar. We have 1600 watts of solar power here, 3 solar controllers, and that captures the power from the sun, and we store that energy in our lithium battery bank, which is 1200 amp hours or 14.4 kilowatt hours.
We can't see it, all we see is your head. There they are.
So on a sunny day, the solar will be more than enough power for us. We'll keep our batteries topped up pretty much full. And I'd say 95% of the time, we run completely off the sun. Right now, the sun's putting in about 52 amps. But the problem is when we get clouds. And 3 days of clouds will take our batteries from, say, at 90 or 100% all the way down to 50%. And that's when we have a choice. What are we gonna do next? So we check out the forecast. If there's sun on the way, we'll be fine. But if there's more clouds, then, well, we have to charge the batteries. So we'd come in here, flip on the generator, and charge using our inverter charger, which charges at a rate of 100 amps per hour, so we could go from 50% charge on our batteries to 100% in about 6 hours. But now we have what I think is the best option. We've essentially turned our engines into generators, and that is done with a high output alternator, which is down here. So now when I fire on this one engine, I can put in up to 200 amps. So with one engine running, we can have our batteries charged from 50% to 100% in 3 hours. If I have both engines running, in theory I could put up to 400 amps into the battery bank and have our batteries charged in an hour and a half. But the beautiful thing is, we always run our engine to pick up the anchor and to move out of an anchorage and to put up the sails. We're almost always running the engine for a half an hour when we leave an anchorage and a half an hour when we arrive to an anchorage. So in that 1 hour, I can effectively put a crap load of power into our battery system doing something I would have normally done anyway. So why the upgrade? Because, well, our engines did come with alternators, and even though these guys say 80 amps on them, the reality is they were only putting about 20 or 30 amps into our batteries. So not much when it came to charging our house bank. That's why they originally installed a generator. But now with these new alternators, they're way more efficient than the generator, and that means we can remove the generator, we can pull all that weight out, we can have one less engine to service, we have a ton of storage room now open up for things like bicycles.
Yeah.
So that.
And less fuel.
Yeah, less fuel, less maintenance,
More
less
space.
stuff to break.
It's just all
Which
around
is great.
way more efficient.
So now I want to give you just a quick rundown on the install process because it was easy and extremely complicated at the same time. And right now I should probably tell you that this is a pre-production model that they sent to us. We did not pay for it. However, they do not have any say over what I say. They do not get to preview this video before we launch it. This is truly...
And we're not being paid, yeah.
Yeah, and we're not being paid. So this is not a sponsored video. Okay, there's a disclaimer.
Okay, so back to the alternator.
So the first thing I installed was this serpentine belt here, and super easy. Everything just bolted right onto this Yanmar 39 like it was made for it, probably because it was. And this replaces the V-belt. This is the standard style, and this is a fat, flat style. And it's just incredible not to have to worry about dust anymore. If you have a V-belt, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then the next thing I installed was the alternator, which is a GenMax 2 215 amp alternator. It was also pretty easy to install. But here's where everything kind of got complicated. The wiring run is, ooh man, you got to go through a lot of tiny spaces. You have to pick the right thickness of cable based on the heat, the amount of amperage, the length, and this cable was not cheap. So I thought, you know what? I should hire somebody to help me. Yeah! $1,600 worth of cable. Man, I knew the alternators were kind of pricey, but I never thought that this cable was going to be so expensive. Got double insulated, marine grade, tinned. I want to say 2-aught, which is what you're going to get in America, but this is a 95 millimeter squared. 95 millimeter squared. Fortunately, I had met a friend his name is Grant, and he is an electrical engineer and an all-around badass. And he was able to come out and help me do this portion. And overall, just the wire run and connecting it all took me about an hour and a half. No, a day and a half. I wish it only took an hour and a half. Halfway through, Nikki stuck a camera in Grant's face and said, "What do you really think about this stuff?"
It should be a lot more reliable, and the feedback from the whole system and the monitoring of the whole system should be much better for your batteries, and then just generally for you guys living on the boat, to allow your batteries to sort of charge up way faster than they used to, and not rely on solar, you know. So if you get into trouble, bad weather, you know, you got the alternators to charge.
And the setup and the gear all looks like pretty legit.
Yeah, so this one's got built-in electronics that automatically drops the field coils of the alternator, so you don't need that extra set of buffer batteries to take up the load when the alternators switch over.
Okay, good. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Yeah.
We also installed a field control module, and what it does is it keeps the little diodes and electronics that don't like to be very hot, it keeps them away from the alternator, because alternators get extremely hot, and having those separate helps it be more efficient and helps it charge better. So that's it for inside here. The giant cables come off the back of the alternator. They connect to a BCM, which is kind of like the brains of the charging in the system, and then that connects to the house battery bank, and it's all sent over to this display right here. And this is where I can control all of the settings. I can plug in my computer to get a really big display, and the system has just been approved by NMEA, so it will work on my chart plotter. So I can view all the settings and change everything from there in the future. I think it's pretty cool. There are a few things I want to tell you about that are important. Number one, talk with your battery manufacturer before setting up the charge rates, because I called Relion and they said they recommend 75 amps per battery. We have 4 batteries, so that would be a 300 amp charge into our batteries. They say it can accept 400, but they recommend 300. So that's the way I have it set. And the cool thing about this system is I have each alternator set for 180 max. So if I'm running 1, I'm putting in 180 amps. But if I'm running 2, I have it set to a maximum of 300, so it combines them and then derates both of them and only puts as much power as I want into the battery bank. So make sure you contact your battery manufacturer, whether it's lead acid, lithium, or AGMs, so you know exactly what to set it at. And the system is made for lithium. It's very smart. The charging works really well so far from what I've seen. Extreme heat is the enemy. If anybody has a situation like this, these alternators do get really hot, and my battery is very close to the alternator. So they've recommended, and I've confirmed with Relion, that it's okay to wrap the battery case with a little bit of reflective insulation, kind of like what you see, kind of like this stuff, or like what you have on an air conditioning vent. I have a big blower and vent tube in the engine room that I'm gonna move, so it's like right there on top of the battery to suck out all that hot air, because electronics do not like heat. Cables do not like heat. So we're trying to keep everything as cool as possible. So keep that in mind when you're sizing your system, sizing your wires, and planning for your install. You might need to upgrade your blower. Just saying.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
And that's it. So the plan is ditch the generator. Man, the system has been working great for us. I think it works. I've watched it work. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know what else to say.
Stay tuned, because if you want more boat projects.
More boat projects are on the way. We are here at Gulf Harbour Marina. We are going to get some crap done in this next week. We've got AC install. We've got sails to put up and take down. Whoop! I'm going to try to check down the generator, see if I can get it started, so maybe we can sell it. Yeah.
Oh, and solar panels.
Solar panels. Oh, yeah. 6 new solar panels, the flexible ones, because, well, we need them.
Yeah, Storm destroyed our other ones.
I'll tell you about that next time.
Yeah, anyway.
Thanks for joining us, guys. See you next time.
Bye. Bye.
So this is some fat ass cable. It's some expensive cable.
That's a technical term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go to your local hardware store.
I want some FedEx
Oh, it's a
cable.
badass cable. The expensive stuff. Those teeth are worn. I just replaced that. Well, in Tonga's, you know, almost a year ago, but we didn't put that many miles on it.
Now you're a real boat owner. That's brand new.
It's brand new. It's a year old.
Smells like burning stuff.
Oh yeah, it does. It smells good. It smells like man. It smells like man work.
Opposite man.
Yeah. Drilling holes. Tiny spaces. I'm glad you're not showing my face. Ah! What was that?
So this is day 2 of install, and yesterday it was all, oh, this is going so well, it's so easy. And how's our emotions today?
I don't think we said it was going easy. We said it was a good system.
Are you squishing me?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Well then, do you want to mansplain to me what you're doing?
You can tell what I'm doing. I'm almost stuck.
Just like Gumby.
God. Wow. That was awesome.